Welcome back. The wreckage of a small passenger plane missing in Kenya since Tuesday has been spotted in the Aberdares forest in the center of the country. Sadly, all 10 passengers died in the crash. Officials say the wreckage was reasonably damaged and had been spotted 11,900 feet up a 400-meter cliff in a dense area after rescue operations resumed this morning. The plane, operated by East African Safari Air Express, flew out of the western town of Kitale late Tuesday afternoon. It disappeared off the radar screen, said its final destination, the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in the capital Nairobi, around 80 minutes later. The cause of the crash still unclear. Burundi's President Pierre Nkurunziza has vowed not to seek another term in office after the end of his current mandate in 2020. He made the announcement in Bugandana in Kitanga province, where the country's new constitution was signed into law. Last month, Burundians voted overwhelmingly in a referendum to back constitutional reforms, which include extending presidential terms from 5 to 7 years. Many had believed Mr. Nkurunziza actively sought the change to term limits so that he could stay in office until 2034. The 54-year-old leader ran for a controversial third term in 2015, a move which set off a wave of violence and an attempted coup that was foiled by government forces. The political crisis led to hundreds of deaths, with more than 400,000 people fleeing the country. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has pardoned 712 prisoners, many of them youths who were jailed for anti-government protests. Well, since coming to power in 2014, Mr. al-Sisi has presided over a sweeping crackdown on Islamist opponents and liberal activists that rights groups say is the worst period of political repression in Egyptian history. He has issued pardons several times a year, including on major national holidays, often releasing students and young protesters. Egypt in 2013 passed a law requiring Interior Ministry permission for any public gathering of more than 10 people, effectively ending the mass protests that helped unseat 2 presidents in the span of 3 years, beginning in 2011. Sisi is a former military chief who toppled elected Islamist President Mohamed Morsi in 2013 after mass protests against his rule. He was sworn in for a third term amid a crackdown on opponents after winning a landslide victory in the March election. Sudan says it had cut all defense ties with North Korea in a rare admission that it used to have such ties in the first place. The announcement comes as Washington is locked in a standoff over Pyongyang's missile and nuclear weapons programs, and as Sudan, which is still on the U.S. list of state sponsors of terrorism, reels from an economic crisis. While the Sudanese Foreign Ministry says the cutting of ties is part of its commitment to the International Non-Proliferation Treaty and sanctions against Pyongyang. It, however, did not say when the ties had been severed or provide details of what they had been. The United States lifted 20 years of sanctions on Sudan in October in a move that looked set to help Sudan's ailing economy, but the country has since plunged into a fiscal crisis, with the Sudanese pound's value plummeting and no significant increase in foreign investment. And South African police says that the recent crime-busting strategy it's implementing is already yielding results. Well, so far this year, 150 cash-in-transit heists have been carried out in more brazen fashion. South Africa's police minister says one of the kingpins have been arrested and hopefully more will follow as part of efforts to halt what an analyst has described as a cash heist epidemic. We must warn some of you may find some of parts of the report hard to watch.
These crime scenes were not staged. They've become a dreaded daily dose in different parts of South Africa.
Yes, and there's an explosion going off as well.
This viral video of a double attack has got the nation doing much more than talking. That double heist happened in this very spot here in Boksburg, near Johannesburg. And while the nation grappled with the shocking spectacle, another heist would happen 24 hours later, a few kilometers away. Several more attacks, security re-strategizing processes and panel discussions later, The Minister of Police, Becky Qele, says efforts are yielding positive results.
In less than 24 hours, we have arrested 13 of these guys. Of the top 20 of the cash heist, Kingpin here is number 2. We have arrested him. He's in our hands.
So the loss of loan, just on the, and I'm not talking loss of life injury or any other damage or collateral damage, I'm talking about only loss of vehicle, never mind the cash loss, equates to approximately 67 million.
There is this element of terrorism that we'll have to work hard, all of us, to make sure that we push this thing back so that we make South Africans to feel safe and relaxed.
Investigative journalist Anneliese Burgers is the author of the book Heist. She shares some of her findings at a panel discussion.
Because of the organized nature of this crime, these aren't normal criminals who basically sit along a road and try and hit a cash van they see coming down the road. These are, I would say, operators who are as good as the best we have in the police. So it's, I think that's one of the essential issues, is that you think about, let's just deal with crime. We are dealing here with a very particular kind of crime perpetrated by very experienced, very good criminals.
Gangs are. In some of the cases, the robbers also come with jammers the minute they attack these cash vans. So in other words, there can be no cell phone contact within a kilometer or 2 of the area the jammer is on. These jammers, I'm told, are easily available on the black market, and that is a cause of concern. We can point fingers at the police. Their hands are also tied. They're short of resources. We know they have a plan of action which they hope they will implement. I think we need a multifaceted approach. We need the public to come on board. And I appeal to the robbers, continue posting on Facebook, continue showing your Louis Vuitton bags and your lovely German cars. This morning I saw a video of somebody counting allegedly 3 million rand on Facebook. We need more of that.
The picture in the past years have been bad, and 2018 is no better. Nearly 150 cases of bullion van attacks have been reported. The loss goes beyond the cash stolen. Now the police says it's fighting back even within its fold. Hopefully cash, which contributes 58% to the nation's GDP, will be moved more securely. From Johannesburg, South Africa, Betty Dibia, Channels Television News.
And that's Network Africa at this time. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker.